several times in each chapter, we see how helpless Krishna is. We find weakness lording over strength exactly because it is weak. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is an epic struggle, and Krishna is the struggler. It all tugs at your heartstrings. It's actually a song, as much of melancholy as of wisdom. And that's the reason I love the Gita.
Namaskar,
Namaste.
Charity. My question is about liberation and truth we were talking about earlier in the session. And from what I have understood, like Maya is something that human mind, whatever human mind can conceive, that is Maya. But ultimately, this concept of truth and liberation is something that has also come from a human mind only, right? So how do we know that this is actually real and this is the purpose of human life, or we have to? This is something that we can. This is the last point, basically. This liberation is the last point. So, is there a possibility that this is also an imagination?
See, you have said something. I'll say something in response. I don't know if it's directly related, but tell me if this makes sense to you, right? See, it's not about knowing the purpose of life. It's about existence itself. Knowledge comes after existence. You exist, right? You exist. You exist even if you have no knowledge. Like in deep sleep. You are in deep sleep, there is hardly any knowledge, but you still are. Correct? That existence suffers. And suffering then is the engine. You want to be relieved of your suffering. Even if you know nothing about your suffering, you still want to be free of suffering. You are suffering. Someone comes and by way of knowledge convinces you that you are not. Will that help you? The Gyanis have told us that we don't even exist. Correct? That all this is just Maya. That's what all the knowers and gurus have told us. And what they have told us is exactly accurate. But just listening to the sentence that I do not exist, does it help you? Or does it make you non-existent?
No.
Those who have known have also told us that all suffering is fictitious. So the moment you listen to this, all suffering is fictitious, does your suffering vanish?
No.
So it's not about knowing. It's the very experience of existence that you are having. That is the point from where all spirituality, all self-knowledge, all seeking starts. I'm not okay. And that's a direct experience. I'm not coming from theories. I'm not saying this because I want to please someone. This statement is arising right from my core. Later on, it might turn out that which I called as my core is not my core at all. But at this moment, this where I'm coming from seems to me like my original core. This is the truth for me, correct? You look at a man crying his heart out. He's weeping buckets. Have you seen such a man? He's lost something, somebody. Can you go and console him with just knowledge? Is it possible?
No.
That's what. So, the first instinct has to be, I want to be free. I do not like my current state. I do not know what my current state is like. That will follow. That knowledge of my current state will follow. The first thing is, I do not want to be like this. And the seeker or student, if he is not uttering this very basic admission, then he stands disqualified. Your first utterance of your eligibility is, I do not like myself. I do not like myself. There is a very interesting one, from the New Testament. Jesus says, unless you hate your life, your wife, your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, unless you hate everybody, you cannot come to me. I have not quoted exactly. I'm coming from memory, so I'll be inaccurate. But there is something to this effect. I do not like the way I am. Now, is this answering your question, or is there more?
So when we say that maybe whatever we call it liberations, maybe it's a kind of a state when we are free from this kind of feeling that we are not all right or we are not suffering. So can we say it like that? So
You said the state of realization.
yes, or liberation, whatever we call. So maybe that is a point when we say that there is no suffering anymore. Like I start with a point where I say I don't like myself. Then there may be a point where
You start seeing the whole process of suffering. You start seeing the whole process of suffering. And you realize that it's possible to have a distance from it. That distance can come either because you are devoted to something far bigger, or it can come just because you are detached to whatsoever is routinely going on in life and within the body. But irrespective of the form in which the solution comes, first of all, there has to be a burning intent to not to remain who you are, or the way you are. This entire exercise then is not for those who are easily settled and well adjusted and reconciled. It is for misfits. It is for those who cannot bring themselves to a comfortable coexistence with the kind of life that's around them and within them. I used to tell my students, reminds me, and that's the title of one of the chapters. It all begins with a no. Again, that might not be the exact title. Freedom begins with. It begins with a no. There has to be a clear enunciation. No. Sorry. Not acceptable. What is it? I do not know. Somebody serves some kind of rotten dish to you. What would you first do? Push it aside or first inquire about its contents? You can smell that it is rotten.
Push it aside.
First push it aside, and later on, if needed, I'll go into its contents and analyze everything so that I'm not cheated again. First thing is to say a no. No, keep it aside. And then we'll inquire into it. Those who are prepared to take in anything will remain eaters of rottenness.